Your life feels out of control because you don't have a clear overview of all your tasks. You don't have a proper system in place that you trust to capture these tasks, thoughts, and ideas. You don't review your system often enough, and you don't have the bandwidth to keep your system running smoothly. I want to start this video to explore the concept of thinking just a little bit. And I promise you, this mindset that you would need in order to improve your life, improve your mental bandwidth, improve your project and task management stems from the way that you think and the way you interact with your ideas. René Descartes was a 17th century philosopher. He asked the question, what can I know for certain? And the answer was, I think, therefore I am. That's the only thing that you can know for certain. And I thought I knew something about the topic of knowledge management, but I realized with more exposure to it, the less I knew and the more overwhelmed I felt, and my thinking was scattered all over the place. I had ideas coming in and out, and I was slowly but surely getting to a more mature stage. But with that matured state of my PKM, I also felt a little bit overwhelmed. And I realized I resonated much more with, I think, therefore I am confused, which is a quote by Benjamin Hoff, the author of The Tao of Pooh. Richard Feynman on thinking. There is a story of a historian who visited Richard Feynman, the American theoretical physicist, and looked over a pile of Feynman's notebooks. He called them a wonderful record of his day-to-day work. Feynman responded by saying, "They aren't a record of my thinking. They are my thinking. The work was done on paper." And what I take away from this is, if you don't capture, it is as good as if you've never had the thought, and you can't make connections with things that you don't have. So now we need to ask ourselves the question, what do we want? What do we want from our PKM system? What is it we are looking to get out of it? And it's not that simple, because I want to take notes, produce outputs. I want a journaling space. I want a happiness tracker. I want to study notes. I want series and TV log. I want a recipe book, project management, task management. It's an endless list, but we can simplify it a little bit more into the question of what you really want. And what you really want is a robust system that you can trust. This is a diagram that I just scribbled out on paper when I posed the question to myself, what is it I want out of my PKM? And I've narrowed it down to 5 elements that makes it work for me. The first one is daily notes first, which is the topic that we started with on this channel. And I'm a big advocate of coming back to the same place every single day. We want consistency. Daily notes first is the way we get to a consistent review cycle. So that ties into the reviews. But LOGREDIS, which stands for log, relate, discover, my version of the ARC framework, allows you to capture those stray ideas and capture those stray thoughts or interesting aha moments into your system in order for you to retrieve it easily in the future. It has the tagging structure attached to it. And those 3 elements served a big purpose in my life's organization. I got a lot of value out of it, but still something was missing. So for the past 2.5 months, I was absent from my YouTube channel, but I've been putting in hard work behind the scenes. I started to read Getting Things Done by David Allen. I had to reread it. I went back to Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. I watched hundreds of YouTube videos. I've read hundreds of blogs in order to get to a system where I don't have any more stress on my mind at all. And the last 2 elements is task and project management, as well as inbox 0. Task and project management, in this diagram, I just split it up into 3 buckets, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. and inbox 0 in order for the clarity of your mind. Up until now, my email or the way I get information from external sources, people trying to contact me, was a mess. There was a lot of things that slipped through the cracks. And implementing this inbox 0 took less than 5 minutes and completely changed my life. So a quick review. We have the daily notes first, weekly notes, monthly notes, yearly notes, and this is where all our reviews happens. And we have gone through these elements extensively in past videos, so we won't cover it again. And we have the LOGREDIS system. So the LOGREDIS system is just the way that we get from our inputs, meaning talks with people, podcasts that we listen to, books that we read, YouTube videos that we watch, blog articles that we encounter, and thoughts that we come across. And we want a way to get it into our vault, our second brain. And LOGREDIS, which stands for log, it stands for relate, and it stands for discover. Log, relate, discover. This is the way we take external stimuli and we change it into something that we can use in order to reach the output. First step in our journey is to clear your head. If you don't have all your projects and all your tasks out on paper or written out on paper, it means that you are wasting valuable resources. Have you ever had a thought popping up every couple of hours, every couple of days of, I need to remember to phone this person. I need to remember to buy this next time I go to the grocery store. I need to do this task for this specific project. That is when you are wasting valuable mental energy that you could use to either relax or think of creative things, think of more energetic things, things that brings your life value. So the first step is to get everything out on paper. Clear your head of all your projects and all your associated tasks. So how do we do that? From Getting Things Done, David Allen provides a valuable framework in order to start laying all your projects and all your tasks out on paper. He talks about the horizontal level and he talks about the vertical level. For the first level horizontal, what we see at the top, we have 3 buckets and you can have as many buckets as you need. I would suggest to start with maximum 3. If you are not working yet and you're still studying, change the work bucket to study. But all of us have a personal bucket. All of us would have some type of creative output. And to me, creative refers to something that I would want to make money out of. And work is something that I get paid a salary for. So I won't put my creative endeavors into my work bucket. So this is an example of the personal bucket. And when we move down, we go to the second level horizontal level. And this is the second level for personal bucket. And here we can see it's an endless timeline of different sub projects. For the first one, it's creme brulee for my mom's birthday. For the second circle, it's Netherlands driving license admin. For the fourth circle, it's travel to Italy for cooking, and so on and so forth. The idea that you want to do is you want to go to each of these buckets and you want to find all the associated circles that there's nothing left in your mind, that your mind can offload all of that information into a system that you trust, and that is what we are building here. So when we go to the second level horizontal level, the heading is the second level horizontal. So the creme brulee for mom's birthday, that is a project. Within that project, there is tasks. And that is when we get into the vertical lineage or the vertical level. And that is find recipe, buy ingredients, slot in time to bake, all the associated sub-tasks related to that project would be here. And you can see if you go through the 3 buckets, everything should be written out on paper. And from there, we can assign actions to it. And even if it's something that is not actionable right now, so let's say you have an interest in developing your magician skills. That is something that you won't have time for now because you have too many responsibilities. That is when you would still write it down, but you'll have some type of indicator saying this is being put on ice. This is being left here so that it does not pop up in my brain. And whenever in the future I get resources related to the subject, I can go put it there, but it's not an actionable project. You still want to write it down. It's just being put on ice. We'll have an indicator saying it's put on ice. But this activity should at max take you 30 minutes. As you think more about it, as tasks appear, you would notice that, hey, cool, I have not written everything down. That is when you head back to your system. And we can start with it as simple and simplistic as you want. You can have one page where you have a heading personal, you have a heading work, you have a heading creative, and then you just go into the sub-projects. And each sub-project could have its own page, or it could not. It could just be a bullet point indent saying, creme brulee for mom's birthday. I don't necessarily want to create a page for it. So I can just create a bullet, and underneath that bullet, I have the subtasks, which I would put into the format that our task or LOGREDIS, log, relate, discover system uses through the task management plugin. And that would go through to the appropriate channels. Let's go to Obsidian and see what this would look like. Heading over to our Obsidian space, I've added a new section in the Obsidian homepage. If you don't want to do all of this work yourself, you can just download the demo vault or the LOGREDIS demo vault. This is where I'll be saving it. And when you go down, you can see what about project and task management. And here we start by getting a sense of all our responsibilities in this all projects home base. This is our home base where we need to brain dump everything that's on our mind. All tasks, all projects, all things that you want to do in the future, anything that takes up mental space is going to have to be written down on paper. We start with three main buckets, which is personal, creative, and work, and you can customize it to your needs. This is just my needs. And we have a task structure, which we'll run through a little bit later, on how to create the tasks associated with the projects that we're going to identify, and where to go look at the personal tasks, creative tasks, work tasks, and also how the bookmark pane works. So let's go to all projects. All projects. This page is where you list all projects that you could possibly have. If a task does not seem to have a parent, just list the task by itself. To assist in this exercise, the below picture shows the top three buckets, personal, creative, work, and this is just the picture that we went through a couple of minutes ago. So for personal, these were my personal buckets. Obviously not exhaustive, but for you, I would recommend to carry on with this exercise until you have nothing left to write down and categorize under these three buckets. So for personal, I created a couple of projects. So a trip to South Africa, travel to Italy for cooking. That's going to be a someday maybe list. Don't have it as a hard date yet. Learning Dutch, exercise and fitness is an ongoing goal. Netherlands driving license, that is something that's quite immediate. Creme brulee for mom's birthday. You can see if we zoom in, creme brulee for mom's birthday is the first little circuit on our second level horizontal level. I would rather create just the creme brulee recipe. But if you feel that that warrants its own note, you can create the own note, because digital space, you can never use up all your digital space, and it's quite cheap. So for me, I create as many pages as I need, because all the notes is just going to be stored in our notes folder, and they are retrieved through data view and context filters. So it doesn't matter how many notes you have and whether or not you are going to come back to them. You don't care, because we have the concept of MOC, which resurfaces the notes that we want to see in the future again. So if it's something that was a point in time task, it is still worth having it, that in the future you can remember, hey, a couple of years ago for my mother, I made creme brulee. And that's a way you can go back to that whole experience through your notes. For me, I'll rather say something like mom's birthday prep for 2023, for instance, and then I'll have creme brulee as a subtask underneath it, or a sub-project underneath it. So I'll rather have 2023 birthday prep, and then I'll have make creme brulee as one of the subtasks. Find flights, fun flights, talk with sisters. So these would all be subtasks, but these would actually be within your mom's 2023 birthday prep. It feels weird saying your mom's. So these shouldn't actually be here. We can take them. Let's just go through this whole exercise, create a new note. We're just going to say a new note. And on this is a note for prep on birthday, something like that. And then the tasks would be something like this. So this is not in the task format yet. We're not going to get them, but this is just to give you an idea that this is a project. So that we just shown would be a little circle here on this horizontal line. We would say Mom's Birthday Prep 2023. The tasks that we filled in would be more vertical lineage, but that's something that will get them. And that is actually the subtasks related to that project. So that is it for personal, just to give you a little bit of a taste for how you could structure it. You can either make notes, or you can just create it out in bullet point form. And that's what I'll recommend you to do at the beginning. And then you can turn it into permanent notes or actual notes. Then creative for myself is just YouTube and blog. And then I would have tasks within these pages again. And work client 1, project 1, client 2, project 1, client 2, project 2, internal work, project 1. So these are just all the different projects within your workspace. We need a place to fill in our tasks. So we need to know how to log tasks. So for your mom's 2023 birthday prep, we want to make creme brulee, we want fun flights, we want to talk with sister. And there is a page which I'll walk you through how to log one of these tasks. And this would be how to log tasks. And if we go back to our Obsidian homepage, you can see review tag structure we created, and go to this page for actual examples. So this is the example that we go through. Logging tasks are easy. We employ our LOGREDIS structure with the help of Task Obsidian plugin to log all tasks. So the LOGREDIS structure that we use, and if we go there, you can see that the LOGREDIS methodology is inputs to outputs, but the structuring of these logs, it's used exactly the same, just the hashtag structure that changed in order to show that it's a task and not just a normal log. Here we want to log a task for buying creme brulee ingredients. We have task personal groceries, and we put it into the task structure, this bullet point structure. And in order to activate this, all you need is the tasks plugin. So if you go to tasks plugin, or if you go to community plugins, you say browse and you say tasks. It will be this one by Martin, a lot of downloads. And here you can see what it does. If we go to our options, we in our LOGREDIS structure, as per previous videos, we don't want them to auto suggest because that's not how we use this functionality. So you just want to make sure that this is switched off. Everything else you can keep the same. You might need to restart Obsidian if you don't, or if you haven't had tasks installed yet. And what we do here is we have it in this structure and we say task, personal groceries. Remember to buy the following. Then we just have sub elements, but this doesn't really matter at all to the above thing. This is just that if you go, or when you go to the shops, you can check it off of your list. The task at the top level, the level where we indicated the hashtag, task personal groceries. So what this means is the task is identified by this hashtag. That is what gives this log the tag of tasks. And everything below it is just a child of that main task. Now the next question is, we logged it somewhere in our vault. Where and how do we retrieve it again? And this is where we can head over to the bookmarks pane, where we created a personal task, creative task, work task. And these are just 3 different pages that look something like this. We have the to do, and then we have the data view query that just says return all logs where it's equal to task personal. Return all logs where it's completed as well. So this is the top one where it's not completed and the bottom one where it's completed. So now we want to see where the actual task is. We can see how to log task. This is where it came from. And here's our task, surrounded by all the other tasks that we have. If we go back, you can see that there's no real context around it. So we can add more context. In our next example, let's say while writing this, I suddenly remember I need to follow up on getting my Netherlands driving license. We add all the necessary context tags as well as a date which we need to make the call on. I preference this by using task personal admin hashtag. I have a priority of high. I have time required low, energy required medium, and this is the task. Call the government officers to schedule an appointment for my Netherlands driving license. I forgot that I need to get this done before heading back to South Africa. Place the call no later than on 2023-07-20. So the subtask associated with this task, find the number which I need to call, book an appointment, and log it in my calendar. And this would go to 3 different places. It would go to our personal task page, which we added to our bookmarks. And when you create this new page, you just go to the edit view. You can right click on it and you can say add to bookmarks. Bookmarks. Here's edit bookmarks, so we can't add it 2 times, obviously. But for this one, it should show you bookmark. So if it's not bookmarked, you can click on it and then you can add it to this little bookmark icon here at the left-hand side. And that task, the task personal admin, would go through to our personal tasks because of this task personal admin. And when we go look, see if it's there, we can see that here it is. This is the task that we're looking for. But it would also go through to the Netherlands driving license page because it's associated with that project. So if you go back to our projects page, we can see that under personal, we have a Netherlands driving license project. So if I go there, I have my Netherlands driving license, I have the logs, then I have a data view query, which checks where a log has this file mentioned. And we can see, cool, there's tasks. So one thing you can also do to make sure that's only tasks being pulled through to a specific MOC or project in this case, you would say, and just copy this, and then you would say contains text, hashtag task personal, or just task. And we can see that it would only pick it up if there is a task, which there is. That's what's still being pulled through. Then we can even change this to say tasks. Now we have tasks associated with Netherlands driving license, which we did not have to capture here. We can capture it anywhere in our vault. To give you another example, let's create the tomorrow's date. And in our log space for tomorrow's date, we remember that there's something else we need to do. And we say task, personal, let's say admin, and we know it's associated with the driving license. So that's the project page. Remember to print visa documents before going to the session. Now we expect it to pop up at the Netherlands driving license and also personal admin. So let's just make sure. Personal admin, Netherlands driving license, remember to print visa documents before going to the session. Great, pops up there. And now we just need to make sure that it pops up in the Netherlands driving license page as well. And yes, it does. Remember to print visa documents. So this is how the tasks flow in and out of our projects. But you can see that the all projects page is crucial to have this oversight. When you think of tasks that you need to do, make sure that you have the overarching bucket, personal, work, creative, whatever you choose, and then make it possible to drill down to the second level, horizontal level. So the Netherlands driving license is our second level, and we just touched on the vertical lineage, the vertical part of it, meaning the tasks associated with that sub-project. And we've done the same for creative and the same for work. This is a space where all your projects need to be listed. If you have projects related to your children, if you have projects related to family members, if you have projects related to trimming the grass or housekeeping, anything, you need to have it here so you can come back on a daily or weekly basis and reassess where your priorities should be. You don't want anything to slip through the cracks. if it's a project that's only going to be happening in 2 years' time, but it's on your mind now, it's still a reason for you to get it out on paper so that you don't have it on your mind and you're sure that it's going to come back to you in the future. So we go back to how to log tasks. There's a final place where it would pop up, and that is, for this example, the call government officers to schedule an appointment. For this example, for this task log, it went to the personal tasks page. It went to the Netherlands driving license page, which is the project page. And finally, it will go to that specific date which you scheduled this task for. So you schedule it for the 20th. So if you go to the 20th, we can see that under task log, it popped up here as well. And the code for that looks like this. Tasks not done, sort by path reverse, description includes this date. And this is automatically created when you create this daily note. And it includes task. So this is where that task gets pushed through so that when you open up your daily note, you won't forget about it. And that is the crucial part where you need to come back to your system every single day. Otherwise, this won't work. There is no way around it. You need a system that you can trust, and you need a system that you review often. If you can't get this right, if you can't go to a system that you trust every single day, this video is not for you. That is what task and project management is. It is review, 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 and choose and prioritize. Prioritize what you need to execute next. Prioritize what you shouldn't do, and have a clear overview of all your tasks, all your projects. So now you're asking, we did not touch on the other classifications, and those classifications are priority high, time required low, energy required medium. And this is where you can play around and adapt to your need. But the main purpose of this is, if a priority is high, it means it needs to get done in the next couple of days. So when you review your system, or when you go to personal tasks, you might want to see all your high priorities, and you might want to schedule a date in the next couple of days, or assign a date to a task. And the way you would do that is you just another and condition. You would say contains low, so just copy this part of the code, and you say task hashtag priority, let's say high. And now you'll only find the tasks which has a priority high. So you see it's quite flexible, and the code will work exactly the same for the other hashtags, meaning time required low, time required medium, time required high, energy required low, energy required medium, energy required high. What David Allen in his book Getting Things Done advocate for is assign where this task will get done. If it's in front of your computer, say at computer. If it's a task that you can complete on your phone, say at phone. Just to give you more context, and then you can use these data v queries, which is very simple. Just add an and condition, and then you can specify. So for this one, it would be priority tasks, for instance. And this is just a place where all your priority tasks will appear. I'm going to take that away. You can play around with it yourself. And we're just going to have all the personal tasks here again. So that's a quick run through on how to create these tasks as soon as you have your projects, and where to find them. So it's quite intuitive. All you need is our LOGREDIS structure, meaning the tag structure that we use for our logs, and we specify different tags in order to filter or create filters to retrieve them again and review them. The last thing we need to run through in terms of tags, and this is the tags structure note, is if we scroll down to task categories, you can see that it's split up task personal, and under personal I have a couple of examples. Obviously this is not exhaustive. For creative, I have a couple of examples, non-exhaustive, and for work is also not exhaustive. There should be work client 1, for instance, task work internal company. And this one should then also be work, and this should be task work. So this is a couple of examples. You obviously need to adapt it to what you want to use the system for. So just go think about it. But for tasks, I always started with hashtag task, And then I typically break it up into the 3 sub buckets that we have. And you can have more, you can have less, or you could have the same. But that way you can always go to your bookmarks pane and see the tasks related to those big buckets. So for client work, task work client 1, for instance, and this would be also one that I missed, work client 1 project 2, for instance. Okay, then the context tags that we briefly spoke about. We have priority, we have time required, we have energy required, and you need to decide what low, medium, and high means for you and stick with it. So if priority is low, for me, it could mean it's not something I want to look at in next month. For priority high, for me, it might mean that I can do it in a week. For you, priority high means you need to do it in the next hour, or you need to do it in this or on this day. Then we have specific places or things that we need in order to complete the task at laptop, at phone, at mall, at gym, at home office, at work office. So that's it for the tag structure that we use with our tasks. Now we need to go back to our PowerPoint and quickly run through what we have already gone through. We've gone through our daily notes first in excruciating detail in past videos, gone through LOGREDIS, and we had a little bit of a recap because we're using the same structure for the tasks. We have touched on task and project management, and now we need to go to the reviews, which is also part of task and project management. And then lastly, we're going to touch on inbox 0. So for now, we want to see how we can actually use reviews in order to stay on top of our work. Then I'm just briefly going to talk about inbox 0. And actually, no, we'll leave it to the end. I'll briefly speak about inbox 0 and share a link to a guy on YouTube that can get you set up with inbox 0 within 2 minutes. For reviews, here we have all projects page. Hopefully you have taken the time and you have scribbled out all the tasks, all the projects that you can think of, and it is somewhere here. Next thing, if you have a clear overview, every week at the beginning of the week, you want to go to your start of your week or the week number. And I'm not going to go through this. There's plenty of videos on how to set up your daily notes with the weekly notes review. So just go and look at my previous videos if you haven't done so yet. But I'm going to assume that you have this knowledge and you have the setup. I'm going to click on 29 for this week, and we're going to say create a week. So what I normally do, and I haven't included in this structure yet, and we're just going to run through this as an example. I go to the beginning of the week before the week starts. So let's say we are on the 16th. What I have is I have a week prep field, and this is where I assess what projects I'm going to be working on this week. So when I feel a little bit lost as to what I need to do on a specific day, I can come back to my weekly review. And at the end of the week, I'm going to come to the review section and I'm going to review my tasks that I managed to complete. So for the beginning of the week, we want a little bit of insight into what projects we are going to be busy with. So if we open up all projects again, and we take it out to the side, this is where I normally have all my projects list. And I say, okay, this week, what needs to happen? You have the normal buckets. And for my purposes, I just like to scribble down or write as much as I want to. It doesn't need to be structured at all. This is just to straighten out the little tied webs in your mind in order for yourself to prepare for the week. So we always have set buckets. Let's say main work projects. Let's say I am on client 1, project 1. And here I remember, cool, there's a couple of things that I need to do. I need to create a presentation and I need to deliver a speech, something like that. Then let's say for personal, we have a couple of buckets of social engagements. So social engagement with sister, social engagement, boat trip, something like that. And then there will be task underneath each. So for social engagement with sister, I need to book train tickets. I need to prepare a hearty meal. Remember to pack that book that I want to give her. So these are just a task underneath the social engagement with sister. Then we can have something like exercise. And this is where I can have my expected exercise routine throughout the week. So let's say Monday, which is the 16th, I can say I expect to go for a yoga session, and here I need to book on something like that. And you'll do that for the rest of the week. Just so you have some clarity as to, hey, what am I going to be doing this week? This does not need to be accurate. It just needs to give you some guideline of what you expect to be doing. Go to the gym, and not going to do everything now. And diet, I sometimes have the same thing where I try to see what I expect to be making throughout the week because I like cooking. This would be bolognese. This would be, let's say, I don't know, creme brulee. And let's say for creative, we have a final one, YouTube. This is our YouTube page, and we want to publish the task management videos. Okay, let's say this is everything that we expect to be doing in this week. And as you can see, there's a little bit of more things that's happening here than in my all projects overview. That's because I have not taken the time to do a full dummy overview, but you need to have everything that's on your mind. So if you have an engagement with your sister, you need to have it here as well. And this is things that's meant to be taken away. This page should only be for active projects or projects that's still ongoing. Again, exercise and fitness is going to be something that's always going to be ongoing. But now we can close this. Let's say we are happy with the tasks and projects that we want to work on this week. We can go to main projects where we have create a presentation. And this is where we can change it into a, for some reason it's not working. There we go. Just need to format it correctly. What I've done here is just Shift Tab. Sometimes it does a little bit of weird things. And now you can see that this is a task format. Just make sure the indentation works correctly, that you can fold it and unfold it. We want to create a presentation, and we know that it should be done by the 20th. So we're going to put the 20th date. And if it's something that needs to be done before the 20th, we can put it as the 19th. Let's say it should be done the 21st. So we put this down the 20th to make sure that we finish it on the 20th. And this is related to client project 1, for instance. Then deliver speech. This is something that also needs to be done on the 21st. So it's going to have the same deadline. And we're going to give it context of which project are we talking about. And then we can have, listen, this is a task. This is work. And this is for client 1, project 1. And same for the top one. And here we can see or set the context filters. So priority, it's quite high. Time required, I would say, is medium. And energy required, it's not really something I use, but I've seen for some people it's quite valuable. And then you can have another tag, which could be at PC, laptop. And we'll just put the same thing for the bottom one. Why not? So this is then filters that you can use on your work tasks, and you can add data v queries just to add these. And it's quite simple. So again, practice makes perfect. So let's say we want to create highly important to dos. We copy paste and we just copy this. Take contains. We put another and. So it needs to return a task where it contains lower of task work. So that's the first thing that we're looking at. Just make this capitalized. And complete, not completed, and contains lower of text. And here we want to see the priority only high. And let's just spell that correctly. So now those two should pop up under highly important to-dos. you can see the data view queries are quite flexible in that regard. So if we go back, we obviously have set the date as well. So now if we go to the 20th, we can see that this task log should pick that up as well, and it does. So now we can see all the tasks that we have set anywhere in our vault for it to just pop up on this specific day. So that's, again, the importance of starting your day with a page like this, with the daily review, because this is where your tasks are going to be pushed through. Obviously, if you have an important meeting, you want to put it on your calendar as well. So you need to put timely events in your calendar for you to be aware of it. You can't just use this task management system alone. I would highly recommend you use your calendar as well. We can't, in today's society, we can't live without it. So what you need to do is you need to watch the video once we get to inbox 0 on how to manage your emails. And that should give you a little bit of a better insight as to how these two systems should go in hand. But this is quite a nice way that if you need to do some thinking on paper, just a nice little bit of a reminder, and it's also good for your review cycle. And then we can carry on social engagement with Sister. I can create a page out of this, and I can put a date at the front. So let's say this is going to happen at the end of the week, so the 22nd on the Saturday. For this, I know it's an appointment or an event with my sister, and these are tasks. So now we create tasks out of them, and it's going to be task, personal, admin, and I'm not going to add all the other context filters, and we want to add this to each one, so that if we create a page, these tasks will pop up there as well. If this is something you need to do on the 21st, obviously I'm just going to do it for the first one, the 21st. This would pop up on the 21st, as well as pop up, because we have the task personal admin, would pop up in the personal task page. Here we can see book train ticket, prepare hearty meal, remember to pack book. So let's say I have already packed the bags and I check that off. It's going to disappear. And at the bottom, you can see all your completed tasks. If I uncheck it, it would just go back. Okay. And you can do the same for exercise. You can do the same for diet. For myself, what works quite nice is for the yoga session, let's say I want to book it. This is a task for myself to remember to book it. If there's a event or sporty event that I want to go to, also a task that I can create for myself to book it. For diet, the recipes, the ingredients I need to buy. This is also where I assign tasks to do throughout the week. So this is the week prep. And then at the end of the week, you will just review what you've managed to do under your review pane. You'll find a slot here or put it under weekly review and say, these are the tasks that I've managed to check off. These are the projects that I worked on, and rinse and repeat for the next week. Then the last thing we need to talk about is inbox 0. Inbox 0 is a very simple framework in which you go to your email. In my case, it was Gmail and Outlook. And you essentially just create 3 buckets. That's all you do. You create a follow-up bucket, you create a awaiting response bucket, and you create a to read bucket. And for most of us, and me included, I've done this up until, let's say, 2 months ago. I just had one inbox. I didn't have any categories. I tried in the past to do the Johnny decimal system, that did not work out for me. It was too complicated and too much effort to maintain. But this system just works. I just had one big inbox. It was messy. And as emails came in, I tried to make mental notes myself. I remember to come back to this email. What this system allows is, as soon as you get emails in, you categorize it and you archive it. So the inbox 0, whenever you go to your inbox of the day, it's empty, except for these 3 buckets. So if there's something that requires your actions, let's say, hey, we need you to sign this document. That is a follow-up action. That's something that you need to do. If you send somebody a question asking them for, hey, can I please receive these documents from you? You are the only person that could give me this information that I need. You tag that email as awaiting response. And let's say for newsletters or some interesting facts that somebody's sharing, that is something that when you have time, you want to read. And those are the only 3 buckets. I'll put a link in the description to the 2 videos for Inbox Zero Gmail, Inbox Zero Outlook. I highly recommend you do it. It won't take you more than 15 minutes. It is insanely liberating once you've completed this. I cannot stress enough how much it helped me just to calm my mind, because I know nothing is going to slip through the cracks. So that is it for a robust system. So now you need to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want to put in the work? Do you want to try and make a change? Because this is not something that's going to be a once-off, cool, I've implemented, never come back to it. It is going to be work. It is something that you need to come back to every single day, and you need to make it a habit. But I promise you, this is the most important habit you'll ever build in your life. It will have spillover effects to every crevice of your life. So ask yourself, what do you want? You want a system that you trust. You don't want anything to get lost. You want your mind to be clear, and you want to be able to concentrate on creative thoughts instead of admin. And I am waging a personal vendetta, a personal war against admin. I hate admin. And this system has allowed me to show a nice little middle finger. Over the past few months, I've been immersed in extensive research and tirelessly condensing all the valuable information I could find on this topic. And I must admit, the journey has been a grueling one. And there were moments when my motivation wavered. However, amidst the challenges, messages coming through on my channel and my personal mail on how my videos are helping people become more acquainted with knowledge management gave me a little bit of extra oomph, drive. Those messages breathed new life into my determination, inspiring me to persevere and complete this latest video. So creating content of this magnitude is not an easy feat. It takes a lot of time. It demands countless hours, dedication, effort. Yet your support and feedback have proven to be the driving force behind my passion for creating this. And this is why I started my YouTube content, is because I couldn't find this information online when I was trying to figure it out myself. This is something that I initially wanted to give back to the community and fill a gap that I saw was there. And I just want to thank you for the support and the feedback, because this has been driving what I do and the extra hours that I put into these creative endeavors. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the generous individuals who have gifted me funds on Buy Me Coffee. You have definitely aided and pumped my veins full of caffeine when I needed the motivation most. And also to those who bought the demo vaults. I'm sorry I can't make it free, but I make these videos all you need in order to build it for yourself. And if you have the means to do so, you can go buy it and skip all the tedious effort of looking at a video and typing out the code. And I must say, the demo vault that is on Buy Me Coffee, it is a nice one. It is quite intuitive on how to use, and it goes through basically all the more advanced topics that you would need in your knowledge management system in a storyline or story-like fashion. But your kindness in supporting me in my creative endeavors not only helps me, it also enriches the lives of those who watch my videos. It has been humbling to witness the power of a supportive community and us all coming together for a common cause, which is for the fight or the rebellion against admin and for getting things. So with your continued contribution, we can make an even greater impact and bring enlightenment to more people around us. I have to admit that I did not think that this channel would be so rewarding. And the reason why I'm giving this monologue is because about a month ago, I reached 1,000 subscribers, which I did not think I would reach that quickly. But I'm thankful for everybody that subscribed. And I just want to give my experience on how I am experiencing this creative endeavor. And I've found it quite rewarding. Obviously, the monetary gifts that you guys are so heartwarmingly giving towards me in order to support me. And also the people buying demo vaults, greatly appreciate it. But just the mere fact that I can put information out there and get immediate feedback from you guys that might have more knowledge on a specific subject that I can incorporate in my vault or my knowledge management system, it's just awesome. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Strength and honor, my brethren, and we'll see each other when the light illuminates us all. Ciao.